For years, SaaS has been king, but that's all changing. Right now, we're in the middle of a massive shift away from those familiar cloud tools we all use towards something totally new, AI-first platforms. And this whole revolution, it brings up a pretty big question for your business, right? Are the tools you're paying for every single month actually holding you back? Because what worked just a year ago might already be a dinosaur.
So here's what we're going to cover in this explainer. First, what's actually wrong with SaaS? Then, we'll dive into the AI-first solution. We'll look at some really powerful real-world examples. And finally, we'll get real about what the future actually looks like, which, spoiler, is probably a hybrid model.
Okay, let's dive right in. Section 1. The problem with SaaS. Why is the old way, the model we've all relied on for a decade, starting to show some serious cracks? Well, a huge piece of this puzzle is just the cost. I mean, think about it. Our source found that a lot of small teams are shelling out anywhere from $500 to $1,000 every single month just for their software stack. That adds up, and it adds up fast. And it's not just the money, right? There are two other huge frustrations. One is how rigid these tools are. You know the feeling. You're trying to force your process to fit into Asana or MailChimp instead of the tool fitting you. And then there's SaaS sprawl. It's that absolute mess of having 10, 15 different apps that don't talk to each other, creating these little islands of data and just wasting so much time.
So that's the problem. And all of this leads us to the solution: AI-first platforms. And I want to be really clear here. This isn't just another upgrade. We're talking about a complete, fundamental shift in how software even works.
And check this out. This really lays out the difference perfectly. Traditional SaaS, it gave us a digital workspace, basically a bucket to put our work in. But AI-first platforms, they're designed to think and execute right there with you. They bring smarter automation and create experiences that actually learn and adapt to how you work. So the big idea here is that software isn't just a passive tool anymore. I love how our source, Velzeno, puts it. It's becoming an active partner. It's actually helping you get the work done. And remember that cost problem we talked about? Well, this new way of thinking tackles it head-on. The author found that just one AI tool could do the job of 3 separate apps. And get this, it saved them almost $200 a month. So these tools aren't just smarter, they're way more economical too. Okay, so that's the big idea. But theory is one thing, right? Let's get into the proof. Section 3, AI tools in action. We're going to look at some real-world examples with actual hard numbers.
First up, let's talk project management. We're putting a modern AI project manager up against the old guard, tools like Trello and Asana. And just look at the difference in the workflow. The old way, you're sitting there manually typing in every single task, dragging it over, assigning it. The AI way, it just reads your emails, automatically figures out what the tasks are, and even suggests who on your team should do what. I mean, come on, that's a massive time saver.
So what does that time saving actually add up to? Well, the author found this AI tool cut their personal workload by a jaw-dropping 30%. Just stop and think about that for a second. What would you do if you got nearly a third of your project management time back?
All right, next example. Let's jump over to marketing. How does an AI-powered tool stack up against a classic, like MailChimp?
And this chart says it all. The AI wasn't even doing anything that complicated. It was just suggesting better subject lines and figuring out the best time to send the emails. The result? Open rates shot up by 18% in a single month. That is a major boost in engagement with basically zero extra effort. Okay, last one, customer support. Let's see what happens when you compare an AI chatbot to a traditional help desk system like Zendesk. The results here are, well, they're just dramatic. The AI chatbot handled 70% of all customer questions by itself. No human needed. Think about what that means. Customers get answers way faster, and the business saves a ton of money. But look, as incredible as those numbers are, let's not get carried away. The future probably isn't about throwing everything out and starting over. And that brings us to our final section, the realistic hybrid future. The key word here is integration. Because we have to be real here, right? AI isn't some magic wand. There are serious challenges to think about. You've got data privacy concerns, you've got to actually train your team to use these new tools, and let's be honest, AI makes mistakes. You absolutely still need a human in the loop, especially for the important stuff. And this is exactly why the smartest companies out there aren't just ripping and replacing their old systems. No way. They're taking a hybrid approach. They're blending the cool new AI stuff with the reliable SaaS platforms they already know and trust.
And when you do that, you really get the best of both worlds. You get all the speed and intelligence and efficiency of AI, combined with the proven stability and security of your core systems.
So that leaves us with one last thing to think about. This shift is happening, whether we're ready or not. The tools are getting more powerful by the day, so the real question isn't if this is happening, but how you're going to integrate it. Is your business ready for what's coming next?